Hello again, everyone. I want to give you just a little update on the John Deere Zero Turn. I did a video about the features of it when I first purchased it. Been about a month ago. So I wanted to tell you how it's doing, things I like about it, maybe a few things I don't like about it. So let's get started. And I have a little over 13 hours on the mower so far. Haven't had any issues as far as things coming loose or not mowing right or anything like that. And since I've talked about the mower on the first video, I have added some headlights. And there they are. These lights were on my old mower, so I thought instead of paying $200 to $300 for a John Deere headlight kit, I just moved my lights from the old mower over to this one. And the headlight kit that I mounted does have the relay. You can see it right here. I just mounted it here close to the battery. Got a plug on it that plugs right in. And ran the wires over to the dash or the instrument cluster over there. There are the switch and the PTO switch, deck height. That's a metal plate right there that all of that's mounted in. So I just took it loose, ran my wiring from the relay up to a new switch. And this is actually a John Deere headlight switch. These mowers come with cutouts already in the metal, and there was one here for a switch, and then there's another one right here. You see how that pushes in? You can cut that out and put another switch there if you wanted to. But mounted the headlight switch in that position. All the wires are protected with loom, and got an inline fuse there to protect the relay in case something goes wrong. And just ran the wires from the relay up to the two headlights in the front. That's that loom right there. It's going from there up to the front of the mower. The headlights do work even with the switch off because I went directly to the 12-volt battery post there. So there's our lights. Don't know that I would use the lights that often, but as I stated in the first video, when I first bought the mower, we have about a 3 to 4 acre field, probably a good 4 acres that a fellow cuts for hay now, and he's planning on retiring. So my plan is to keep that mowed along with the yard. I probably won't mow it as close as I will the yard, but I'll keep it mowed at least a couple of times a month. And if I'm running late, I can turn them lights on and mow it dark if I need to. There are a couple of things I've found so far that I really don't like about the mower. One is the fuel gauge. Yeah, I mean, it works okay, and it's right here where you can see it, but when you're mowing, you can't see it unless you almost come to a stop, and you got to peek over this armrest right here to see it. So I don't really know how they could have made that better, but as you can see, you can't see the fuel gauge when you're sitting here on the seat. Unless you look over to the left, then you can see it. That's no big issue. I always check the fuel before I start to make sure I've got enough, but maybe if they could have figured out a better way of doing that, putting where you could see it a little better, that would be good. The other issue I have is, like with any zero turn, if you cut real sharp at the end of a row when you're turning to go back do the next row of grass, if you don't watch, you'll dig up the grass a little when you turn. I've kind of learned that if you're turning to the left, which you would push the right arm forward, if you just kind of move this just a little on the left arm, it'll keep that left rear tire moving a little bit, and you'll have less of that tearing up the grass. If you pull back on this at all, it's going to lock up that left wheel, and then when you do that with the right wheel, you're going to dig up the grass for sure. So that's not a knock on the John Deere, that's just a knock on the zero turns in general. Now for some things that I really like about the mower. This deck adjustment, I'm a big fan of it, because all you do is turn it to the setting you want, which I usually mow on about 3 1/4, which is where it's setting. Once you get it where you want it, you turn that back to lock it, and it'll stay there. And you can still, if you're coming up on you see something you need to raise the deck for, you can still raise it with your foot. But I really like that. And I'm a big fan of this Kawasaki engine. If you're looking at John Deere zero turns, of course your salesman will, I'm sure, give you all the information you need, but if you see the motor that says John Deere on it, that's a Kawasaki. They have a Kohler engine, of course it'll say Kohler on it, but it doesn't say Kawasaki, it just says John Deere. But that means it is the Kawasaki engine. One thing I've noticed about this engine, when you shut it off, you get no backfire, which a lot of the Kohler engines, and I guess even the Briggs, I haven't had a Briggs engine, but I'm sure it does it too. If you don't idle the engine down before you shut it off, you'll get some backfire. This engine does not do that. You can be at half or 3/4 throttle and shut the key off, and it shuts off. You don't hear a backfire at all. And I just mowed yesterday, so you can see I've had to blow the grass off. I'm not a believer in hosing off mowers, especially the decks, because you're getting water down in areas where water doesn't need to be. Occasionally I'll just, on my old mower, I would just kind of sweep it off and then take an air hose maybe and blow the rest of it. Another pro about the mower is the size of those tires on the back. You don't spin. I've had other smaller mowers where if you get in a wet area or on a hill or something, you'll get some spin on the back tires. I don't think these will do that. Another pro I like about this mower are these adjustable armrests. And I have these set the way I like them. I got them slightly up to where I can lay my elbow and my arm on that armrest when I'm mowing. Makes it a lot better. You don't have your arms out in the middle of the air holding them up all the time. And it's just an adjustment right here, just a little knuckle that turns and a bolt back here, and it sets the angle of the armrest. So I like that. I love this seat. That's the suspension seat that you set for your weight. And it really makes it a lot easier to ride, because I have some rough spots in our yard that the old mower you almost bounce out of the seat. With this one, it's a lot smoother ride. Get my headphones out of the way there. I listen to the radio while I'm mowing. Another thing, a pro I like about this mower is a seat belt. I use that seat belt even on a flat yard. And our yard's pretty flat, but it just seems like it keeps you in the seat better, and you're not bouncing around if you do hit rough spots. So with with that suspension seat and that seat belt, it's a pretty nice ride. I've got the roll bar tipped back because we have some trees with pretty low limbs in the yard, and if I had that all the way up, I'd be hitting the tree limbs when I went under them. So I'll definitely, if I do start mowing the field, I'll put that roll bar all the way up, just for protection. One thing I have added to the mower, you see that little hitch there on the back, that black piece there on the back, that's actually a piece of cast iron. It's more weight than a bumper, but I also put that hitch on there, and I got it online. That's not a John Deere original part. I paid like $15 for it, and I had some John Deere green paint, so I did have to paint it. It was green, but it wasn't John Deere green, so I painted it to match the mower, and we got a good match there. That'll be handy if I ever want to pull a cart or anything with the hitch. Another pro about the mower is this deck. Not only is it a heavy built, very beefy deck, it's a 7-arm deck they call it, but this thing, of course, I know it's new and the blades are sharp, but it'll throw grass 15 feet out past the deck, which is, that's helpful if you're in, especially if you're in wet grass. It'll kind of spread it out more than a typical mower will. It'll kind of ball up and spit out grass, but this mower here, it throws it out. And I mowed with the grass a little wet a time or two early in the morning before the dew got off, and it mows just as well as it does dry grass. So impressed with that. Another pro is those rubber tires on the front. No air in those tires. You don't have to worry about if you hit something, punch a nail in them, or solid rubber, so you won't have any issues with them. The cup holder's kind of in a funky position, I think. I mean, if you got a lid on your refreshment, whatever you're drinking, if you got a good lid on it, it's not a problem. But you know, if you had like an open can or something with a pull tab, you're going to get dirt and grass down in there when you're mowing. You can see that little storage space on this side is full of grass already. Don't know about that. I haven't used a cup holder. I don't mow that long, so I don't really need a refreshment with me when I'm mowing, but could have been a little better place, I think. So that about wraps up my 1 month review on my John Deere Z930M. If I rated this mower from 1 to 10, I'd give it a 9.8. It's a nice mower, built well. I'd highly recommend this mower. So thanks for watching the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you next time. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks.